Here are your 7 tips to help you deepen your affirmation of the existence of angels, and 7 tips to help you when facing confrontation from others who might be skeptical of your belief in angels. Welcome everybody, I'm Devon Duerr, angel intuitive and spiritual teacher. The fact that you're here watching this video shows me that you're most likely at least a little bit open to the idea of angels and the way that they are here as God's servants to protect us, to help us, to guide us, and support us. However, we've all been in those places where we're either skeptical of that belief or someone around us is skeptical, and it makes it harder for us to deepen our connection. Some of us have had amazing experiences, and I've talked to many of you where you are absolutely convinced that there are angels, but it's a little challenging to talk about it because of those around you who are skeptical. First, we're going to talk about how to handle others who are skeptical. Then we'll talk about the ways to deepen your own trust that we are loved and supported by God's angels. If you're already actively connecting with the angels and sharing about it with others, you've probably experienced the occasional raised eyebrow, the skeptical comment, or even been confronted by somebody or news that people are having conversations about you that challenge your beliefs. It may have even caused you to question or doubt your own beliefs. Well, I am here to tell you that is all a very good thing. Skepticism is a good thing? Absolutely, in my experience it is. I love skepticism. And the truth is, skepticism is a way to protect yourself. If someone is trying to convince you to believe what they believe, and you are not fully on board, that is your intuition telling you that you need more information or you need to experience it yourself. So it's better to slow down and pause before you jump into that deep end of that particular pool of beliefs. So let's go over some tips if someone else is confronting you. Maybe you've already had an amazing experience with the angels, or you've had so many little ones, you just know that you feel supported and you trust that. But someone else is not convinced and they're skeptical, and maybe they make comments that hurt, or maybe they even come directly to you and say, "Hey, I don't believe what you believe." Well, the first thing I'm going to recommend you do is definitely stay calm and respectful. You don't want a situation like this to escalate. Keep the energy calm, ground yourself. If you need to, call in the angels to help you raise your vibration and protect you and ground you. The second one I would recommend is to listen carefully to what the other person has to say, and then take your time before you respond. This will also help with it not escalating, but it will also let that other person know that you are listening, you're open to hearing their viewpoint, and you really understand where they're coming from. The third tip would then be to, of course, express your perspective. If you have had your own personal experience with the angels, I encourage you to share that. You may not have seen it, or maybe you have, but I have another video here on my YouTube channel called Seeing Angels, where I actually saw angels when I was 19 years old. But I was very cautious to share that story until only a couple years ago because I wasn't sure how people would react to it. Now, of course, I did share it privately with my parents, my grandmother, other people I trusted, but I really protected who I shared it with. And then it became to the point where I needed to be able to express it so that others who experienced this would have something to compare it to. But I still get pushback, and that's completely okay. I honor and respect those who are skeptical. The fourth tip would be to maybe provide some kind of evidence or reasoning. And we'll get to some more tips on how to do that soon, but maybe you know of somebody else who experienced this and you could share their story. Maybe you've read about things that prove that the angels are with you, or you've seen videos. And of course, you're going to have to check in with your intuition to see if that feels real. We all know there are videos out there that are photoshopped, that aren't true. And there's always going to be those people who aren't honest about the stories they're sharing. So check your intuition whether that's the right story to share. The fifth tip for you is to acknowledge the differences between your beliefs and the other one. This also allows that person to know they are being heard by you. It's respectful, and it gives you an opportunity to really compare them and see what feels right to you. The number 6 tip, I'm having a hard time saying 6 there. The number 6 tip is maybe you need to agree to disagree to avoid that escalation. We do want to avoid arguments here. We want to respectfully change the topic to a neutral topic if we need to. And there's no need to get in an argument over this. We've all seen people get into heated arguments over politics, over their beliefs, and it's very uncomfortable, and it definitely lowers the vibration in the room or in the conversation. So we want to keep the vibration high, and maybe it's okay to agree to disagree and end the conversation or change the topic. And finally, the number 7 tip, if you are finding yourself facing confrontation about your own beliefs from someone else who is skeptical, maybe consider asking if they'd be willing to keep the dialogue going and ask open-ended questions. This is where you can educate the person about how you feel or things you have learned without the pressure of making them feel like you are trying to convince them about how you believe. So I'm going to remind you that anytime you feel like someone is trying to convince you of what they believe and they're trying to get you on board and you don't feel right about that, that is not going to help anybody. And that's why I like skepticism. I think it's important that we do that. And I've had to do it many, many times throughout my life to get to the point where I am now. And anytime something comes up for me where I question it, that's when I will go into these next steps to deepen my own belief, my own connection, and seek that evidence we all desire that we are guided and supported by God's angels. Okay, so now moving on to the next part, what to do when you need more proof your angels are with you. I personally like to examine my own experiences. And like I said in the video, Seeing Angels, that was one of them. But I've also had many, many more experiences since that age that were definitely proving to me that I was using my intuitive abilities. And I realized I needed to track them to be able to understand how I use my intuition. We all have intuitive abilities. You are highly intuitive. But how you use them may be completely different than the way I use them. So it's important to practice and track using your abilities so that you can develop that intuitive muscle. You may have heard me say that in past videos, or other coaches say that we are building our intuitive muscle. Yes, we are born with these abilities, and most of us are a little bit more open to one over another one or two over another one. And so what we want to do is focus on using the one that's already strong, and that will help build the other muscles. So that's where it's a little bit different than going to the gym to build your physical muscles. This is where we want to focus on our strength. And then as that strength expands, we begin to bring in these other intuitive abilities. So of course, the very first tip, if you want to deepen your own belief in your angels and your connection with them, is to track your intuition. We want to write down our experiences, our dreams, signs and symbols we see. I have many other videos on that. I also have intuition tests to help you practice where you can write that down. So it's very important to do that, and you will see why when we get to tip 7. But tip number 2 is to also think of angels in like categories. And I know that sounds a little interesting, but if you don't really know how to interpret the way you're getting help, then think about the times that you want to experience protection versus the time you want to experience getting a new idea on how to get something done, or you want to experience motivation to get started with the creative project. How do you ask for those, for that support and divine guidance? And how do you receive it? And again, writing down. Do you get an idea? Do you have a dream? Do you have a vision? Do you see repetitive numbers on license plates, receipts, or clocks? What are the things that come to you when you ask for help? And try to identify a category. Oh, well, I was asking for protection, or I was asking for confidence. I was asking for creative ideas and solutions. The number 3 tip is to also research, study, and compare your experiences with others. There are loads of books and scripture and ideas out there that share ways you can connect with your angels, and they share actual experiences. Of course, those are some of my favorite ones to read and listen, is where other people had life-changing experiences with angels And I really, really encourage you to go listen to that and see where you had similar experiences. That's one of the reasons I have my Storytime playlist here on this YouTube channel. If you want to go check that out, is because I'm trying to share experiences with you that you might go, that's what happened to me, or that's how I got that sign. In fact, my right calf is tingling as I just said that, and that's one of my signs is my right calf will tingle if I need to keep focusing on a topic or I need affirmation of something. But you might get it on your shoulder or on the top of your head or the back of your neck. So that's why I share those experiences. And I did find when I was looking for mentors, I often found it hard to get mentors to share experiences. And their belief was if they shared it, they might change your experience. But for me, I needed to know that I wasn't totally out on a limb with my experience, because you may also know this about me, but my background and my degree is in accounting and business administration, very left-brained. So I needed more validation. I wanted more evidence that my experience was similar to others. The number we're on the number 4 tip now. The number 4th tip, don't forget about meditation and prayer and asking for a deeper connection, asking for that evidence, for that guidance. Surround yourself with the experiences by asking for them, but sometimes that means you have to get very still and ask, or you have to get very still and observe. So in meditation, we are observing, we are listening for guidance. In prayer, we are asking. So that's a really good one to remember. So, I like to think of the number 4 as being 4 is the door. Meditation and prayer are the door to help you get more confidence in your connection with God's angels. My number 5 tip is to surround yourself with reminders that the angels are with you. Some people like to get those cute little figurines. I will often go into Christmas stores that are open year-round, and I will find an ornament with crystals, and that's maybe not so Christmassy looking, like it's just silver or just gold, and I'll hang it on lamps. I'll hang it around just to remind me if I like it in a certain area or near where I sit and meditate. You can also do crystals. I love crystals. I don't have one of them near me, maybe in my background, but one of my favorite is celestite. Listen to the beginning of the name of that crystal. Celeste, like celestial, that's angels. And I do find a deeper connection with angels when I'm around my crystals and when I'm communicating using celestite. Another really fun one is Post-it notes. When you're trying to get used to it, you can write a Post-it note that says, remember, ask your angels, or remember, notice the signs. If that's something you like to do, put it on your mirror for where you brush your teeth, put it, maybe somewhere in your car, maybe you put it on the door as you're leaving, like ask the angels for protection. So those are little tips there. And then that leads me to the number 6 tip, which is to connect with like-minded people. You hear people say this, find your tribe, get out of that spiritual closet. I cannot tell you how many people I had no idea were right within the vicinity of my life that believed in angels and believed in connecting with intuition until I got out there and started looking for them. And actually, the first thing I did, a little tip here, is I asked the angels to help me find them and to bring them to me. And then if I thought it was somebody that was like-minded, I would ask for a sign, and sure enough, I would get them. Okay, here we are at the final number 7 tip for deepening your belief in your own connection with the angels, and that is going to be my favorite one, hindsight. Hindsight is 2020, and is my opinion that it is one of the best ways to deepen your connection with the angels. It is my belief that it is the best tool, or one of the It is my belief it is one of the best tools for deepening your connection with the angels and creating that book of evidence that you are always divinely guided, and you can be guided and receive support in the tiniest little ways, not just in the big ways. And I do find that a lot of people will think that they have to be saved in a miraculous way in order to have connection with the angels. And I will have more information on that coming up on how to connect with the angels, and there's several videos already on my website if you want to go check them out. But one of the first things you're going to want to do is grab that journal and start creating your book of evidence. And what you do is you review past experiences. So I teach journaling workshops, and the biggest question I get is, What do I put in my journal? I don't want it just to be me doing the Dear Diary thing. I want it to be something that's actually helping me grow my intuitive abilities and deepen my connection with the angels. Well, start by writing down a past experience. As I said at the beginning of this video, you're here because you're at least a little bit open to the idea that angels are around us and supporting us, or some type of higher spirituality is there connecting with us and guiding us, just like I believe God is. So whatever that is for you, you're open to that. Now go review some experiences where you knew in your heart you were being guided or you were receiving a sign. You can write down the experiences where you followed that guidance, and then also write down the experiences where you didn't follow that guidance. And I know that's a little bit hard to look in the mirror and do, but that will help you so much for the next time. And that's what's helping you deepen that connection. So review your past experiences, write them down, see if you can connect the dots. Notice if you heard the message, saw the message, felt the message, dreamt the message, and mark that as well. I have lots and lots of tips for you on my channel on how to do this and how to use your intuition tracker to create that book of evidence. So stay tuned. If you're not already, you can sign up for my newsletter at devonduerr.com. It's totally free, and you'll get my free ebook that helps you interpret signs, and that can help you with connecting those dots. And also, if you're new to journaling, I have my free 5-day journaling challenge that will help you deepen your connection with the angels, and you will receive not only a welcome email to let you know you're signed up, but you will also get an angel message in your email inbox for 5 days with a downloadable PDF that is designed to introduce you to the way that I teach journaling. I teach a method that helps you track your intuition and deepen your connection with the angels. And let me just say that one more time. In the welcome email is where you get that PDF that you can download and use, and then you will also starting the next day, begin getting angel messages in your email, 1 per day. That's going to help you with this challenge. And I love hearing how this works for you. I am passionate about helping others identify and grow their intuitive abilities and connect with the angels on their own. I believe my purpose is to teach and encourage you to connect with spiritual guidance more consciously. All right, well, I am so grateful you are here watching this video. If you found this helpful, please give me a like or comment below and share this with anybody else who needs help deepening their belief in angels or needs help dealing with confrontation about their own beliefs. I am so honored to know you. I am so appreciative you are here. And until next time, remember, take time every day to connect with the angels.